Okay, folks, here we go. This is a round 4 match in this year's virtual VP4 US Open, I should say. And it's between Bedhead and Winkatme. Now, Bedhead had a fairly easy run in his last match. I'm expecting it to be a tougher run. He's against stronger opposition. Bedhead should still be the favourite, though. So just to cover the rules again, just to remind anybody who happens to be watching this for the first time, we've got a race to 16. It's alternate break. And the other rule is there are no jump cues allowed. You can jump with your playing cue if you can. And the golden break rule stands. So if you pot the 9 ball on the break, you win the rack. Straight away, Bedhead is in, and as long as he gets on this 6, he should be okay. The only slight problem might be if he gets the wrong angle on the 7. He doesn't want to be hitting the 9. Right, we'll just check my little doodle. Right, that's working okay. Right, the stream, when you set the stream in YouTube, you can set it for a high, a mid and a low latency setting. I've always had it in a mid setting, so it means that when I'm watching the match in the room and streaming it, there is a 4 to 5 second delay in what I see in the room to what I see on the stream. But what I'm watching now is, in fact, even though it's a low latency, there's still a 3 or 4 second delay, so it makes no bloody difference looking at it. But the main concern is if we have any problems in the quality. Remember, when you're watching a stream, if you click the little cog in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you can adjust the resolution. So anyway, back to the match. We've got Bedhead winning the first rack. The break has gone to Winkatme, and the 8 ball has gone. Now have a quick look at that. I don't know whether he can see enough of that 1. Well, he could actually pot this, but he'd have to kick it off the rail. So he's decided against that, going for the push out. Now, what do we say about push outs? You have to make sure you're not just opening the door. Now, Bedhead's got an invitation here for a bank, and this could be a good single bank or a double bank past the 6. So, not the best of push outs, but it's there as a little teaser. Winkatme looking to see whether he'll is he going to take the bait? The push was passed, so Winkatme's going to have to back himself up here. He's went for the double bank, might go 3 times. I don't think it's going to get there. So in this case, it's backfired. Bedhead refused the push out and pushed it back to Winkatme, so that more or less called his bluff and forced him into taking the bank. So the table is wide open. There's no clustered balls. There's nothing blocking anything else. And this is once again where you expect a player of the quality of Bedhead to just take his time and get through. So just a little roll through for this 3. Nothing fancy. No, it's still the same delay. It's still about 4 seconds. So I don't see the point in it at all. As long as everybody can watch it and there's no buffering, then that's fine. Well, there's a mistake. Now, Winkatme can see half of the 3 ball, so he can only see the edge. Now he's got to get this extremely thin because he's looking to run up to that top right hand corner, and if he hits this thick, he's just going to tee it up over the pocket, And I think that's maybe what he's done. He needs to get a blocker here. And no doubt Bedhead will try and kick it in. It's a wee bit further away and not quite as easy to judge for the kick in, this 3 ball. And he's played it well, and look at the position all round the angles and sitting on the 4. And that might be a bit, well, he's only got to worry about, I don't even think he'll be anywhere near that. He'll need to go across the table just to once, leave the long 5. So Bedhead has started off where he left off in his last match, and well, it's always the same until you get a rack on the board, and Winkatme will looking to get one sooner rather than later, but this is a break that's gone against the head, so Bedhead's going to be breaking in rack number 3, and he's going to be 2-0 up. So we're on rack number 3, dry break, and here is a chance for Winkatme. Now there's a problem with the 3 ball, it's hiding behind a 9, which makes it awkward to get any kind of position on it, so that's where he's going to fall foul if he doesn't do something off the 2 ball. And he's hung the 1, didn't go on the 2, but that's now going to leave the problem for Bedhead to deal with. He was playing a little delicate shot to get onto that 2. He'd have probably jumped to 9 anyway to get the 2, but he's left a 1. Now that's just a bit tight to get that cue ball out of the corner. He really needed to get some of that 5 ball to actually pot the 1 and use the rail to get out, so he's had to play the draw. The 5 ball was a problem, but he's got a nice angle on this 2. Now this would be a really delicate shot to drop on the short side of that 3 ball and play it into the same pocket as a 2. He's probably going to try and move something here. How's his luck? Well, that will do. It's going to need a little delicate cut in the 3, but he's got to think about the 4 ball as well. That's not bad, but same problem he's going to have with the 5. If he goes too far, he might just leave himself a bank up and down the table in the 5. Well, he's gone too far. In fact, he's probably gone too far for that as well, but he's got a safety. He can hide up behind the 6 and the 9 and tuck that 5 along the rail. Well, I would have played that with a bit of spin to go over to the right hand side, because there's a billiard on here from this 5 and the 8, so I would have been looking to get better cover than that. He had the choice there. A good bit of right hand English would have spun that cue ball off the rail and get it up to the top end in the right hand side of the table, but Bedhead's probably looked at the billiard. And there we go. And again, tactically, Winkatme made the wrong choice here for the safety, I'm afraid. You cannot leave yourself vulnerable to any shots like that. You have to tuck that ball away and get the cue ball hidden as well. And that was just an open invitation for the billiard. And so Bedhead under no pressure is going to be 3-0 up. And Winkatme's, the longer this goes on without him getting it right, the more the sort of nerves will kick in. If desperation sets in, that's when more and more mistakes will get made, so he doesn't want to go down that route. So he's got a ball, 2 ball has gone, not a great shot in the one. He's going to be running into clusters here, so he's looking for the safety. That's a bit better. I know this is a bit far out, but Bedhead could actually try the billiard again if he wanted. If he jumped over the 6, hit half of the 1 ball, cue ball onto the 3 and billiard the 3 ball in. It's a bit of a long shot, but he's gone for the kick. And look at that, the 1's gone in. Well, if he played that, that was excellent. If he got lucky, which he's just apologised for, then you've got to just ride your luck. Take what you get. Well, there's a path between the 8 and the 9, but it's a narrow path if he wants to stay near that right hand middle pocket for this 4. Well, he's played it with inside English to come the safe route. That was a wise choice of shot. That took out any collisions with anything up there. Well, there's nothing like a good bit of luck when you're already 3-0 up. Looks fairly straightforward. Just wants... Well, he could have played that better, I would have thought. That is not where you'd want to leave the cue ball. He's just given himself a lot more work to do here with the cue ball. That's going to drop behind, is it? No. Well, he's not cutting that in. Trying to tuck up behind the 9. And that's a pretty damn good safety, I think. Is it? Or is it just enough of it peeking out? No. He can't get it, but he can certainly cut it. Cut it into the bottom right hand corner. So this is a crucial chance here for Winkatme. Pressure shot. Should be on the 9. Well, he sent it into the rail and he used as much of that pocket as he could. So this 9 ball for his first rack in the board. Now we see how that all came about. That was just a poor shot by Bedhead. I mean, he just didn't go through with the cue ball to get straighter on that 7, and that's what's cost him the rack ultimately. But it's back to Bedhead breaking off. in rack number 5. Nothing doing. Well, not a dead set combo here. There's a good foot between the two. So once again, Winkatme's gone for the safety and played the push out. Well, I still like the billiard from the 1 to the 2. It's not that hard to judge. But Bedhead isn't interested. He's going to keep it tight. No, nobody stole my toupee. I got my head shaved yesterday. Number 1 all over, no messing about. You're in and out in 5 minutes. Right, so Bedhead, ball in hand, no prizes for guessing what's happening here. He's looking for the more than likely looking for the billiard from the 2 onto the 9. He's got to get this cue ball somewhere over by the 4 and the 8 would be ideal. He's run through off the jaw, and that's fairly simple. Little clip in the 2. He might have actually gone a wee bit too far, but we'll see. This could send it to the bottom rail here. Yeah, he's got it. Well, very quickly, Bedhead has restored his 3-rack lead. It's now 4-1. And Winkatme breaking off. The 1 ball's going into the middle. And he's got no real shot in the 2. That bottom pocket's blocked. He's got a very... Well, he had a very thin cut in the left middle as we look, but he's played the safety. Got the cover. It should be an easy enough kick here. I'll try to get round behind the 7 and the 6. I've probably been better trying to just get it above the 7 and the 6. He's maybe looking to punch the 2 up the table and keep the cue ball down here. So ball in hand for Winkatme, but this still isn't a dead set because that 5 and 8 are the problem. So Winkatme doesn't fancy it. Gone for cover, but this is going to be a jump. Tell a lie, no it won't be because I don't have a jump cue. What are you talking about, you mug? Well, he could jump, but I don't think many people practice jumping with a playing cue to actually find if there's an angle to use it, because I certainly don't. I've seen the occasional jump with a playing cue, but most of them end up in a disaster anyway. Well, that's turned out nice. I forgot there was bloody no jump cues in the tournament there for 2 seconds. Well, the 2 goes. In fact, I think it goes either way. No, it's a bit extremely thin into the middle. Let's look at this 5 from this end. Just needs to come back an inch or 2 for it into the middle. Or is he going forward? What's he doing? He's going forward. And We can see enough of it to get it into the bottom right hand corner. I think the 6 goes past the 7, does it? Yeah. Well, that first rack that Winkatme won is not really changing the pattern of the match, because Bedhead is looking very likely to win the next 2 here to go into 5-1 lead. Now, who was it Bedhead was playing in that last match? I've forgotten already. Where are we? We're at the top of the bracket. Yeah, when Bedhead played River City, I think River City was relying too much on Bedhead making mistakes, and the problem is Bedhead didn't make many mistakes. And then when River City got chances, just could not take them. Winkatme's going to have to make things happen here. He's already got a mini crisis in his hands. Now this would be a bit of a dangerous one to risk, potting this 2 and running into the 8 and 9. And well, he's done it. He's still got a shot in the 3. But when you do shots like that, you have to back yourself up. You have to get the run out to make it worth your while, because if you fail here, you've just opened it up for Bedhead. So the pressure's on again. And that's a good one. He's going to have to draw about a 1.5 feet off this 4 ball to leave himself nice on that 5 into the middle. Well, he's not doing that. He's going long, and this is not a gimme. He's left himself that nasty angle in the 5. He's not looking directly into the pocket, and these are always missable. And it's gone in. Well, the rule here is don't leave yourself straight in the 8 ball. Whatever you do, get an angle off the rail. And he's done that. So a little run through and just leave the 9 long. Well, Winkatme took the risk from the 2 ball to split the 8 and the 9. And he has backed himself. He's managed to run out, and he's reduced the deficit to 3. And he also has the break in rack number 8. And that's a good break. How's his luck though? Oh, he's sitting nice in the 1. Well, I say nice. If he's going to draw back, he's going to draw back into that 5. Needs to glance it. In fact, he's actually missed it. That's even better. Well, this is a rack even I could run occasionally. And when the balls are like this, you do your best to keep it as simple as possible. And straight away, he's the wrong side of the 4. And this is where he's out of shape. And he's going to have to play a good shot to recover. Well, plenty of room past the 6. And doesn't really need to worry about the cue ball. He's just got to get the cue ball up the table. He's going to be on the 6. What's the angle like in that 8? I'd still prefer running down the table and back up. He looks as if he's drawn off it. Or is he stunning it off the end rail? Yep. So, this might be what Winkatme needs to settle into the match. Couple of racks back to back. And it's now 5-3 to Bedhead, and he's breaking off in rack number 9. And of course, the alternate break is actually maybe going to hit the fact that Bedhead, I think he's had a couple of dry breaks there. Winkatme's in again. I think it's a little draw back to the rail. Oh dear, well, it's amazing how things can go wrong with just one shot. Drawn onto the 3, pushed it safe. Is he going for the old bang? Play the combo? Well, he tried it. Unfortunately, he's left it safe. Well, simple enough to bank that 3, but he's going the short way, so he's just he could actually have brought the cue ball down to the bottom of the table, but he's going the shortest route and just use the 9 ball as a blocker. I think he can see an edge of that though. Oh, I can see enough. Now, if you're just going to cut that 9, sorry, the 3, you could have just bumped it onto the 9, so that's why he just rolled up dead. Same again for Bedhead, I would assume. I think he's got the same result. It's still peeking out. Now, I think Winkatme, if he can see enough of this now, he can bank it past the 9 up towards the 8 and get the cue ball down the bottom. Well, he's not. And unless he gets cover, he's opened it up. I should have went down there to have a look and see how much of that 3 ball I could see, because what he should have been trying to do is cut it back off the side rail up to the 8 rather than just square across the table, because that meant that he had to get cover in these 2 balls at the bottom end here. Well, that 4 goes off the jaw, certainly it goes. And that's gone a bit square. A lot more square a shot than you would like. Looks like the bank is on. And that little spin off the rail, just taking the cue ball down for the 6. I don't know whether he's on the right side of it. Doesn't matter. A wee bit of right English will do the trick here. Well, Bedhead just mopping up the 8 and 9, and he's going to open the gap again. Well, he's left himself short on that as well. I'll tell you, he's doing his best. He's not. There's no way he's cutting that in. He's got to bank that back. Well, he's got it. He's leaving himself a lot of trouble. Couple of shots, he's left things way short. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's 6-3 to Bedhead. Oh, look at the 9 ball. The 1 ball's just dropped in as well. Now, well, he can see enough of the 2 to pot it. I think it'll just be a straightforward run out, because the six goes into the middle. It's tight, but it does go. But look where the nine's sitting. That nine's not perfect to knock it in. He's got to send this 6 out off the rail to that 9 to cut it in. This isn't cut and dried, this shot. Yep, that's why it's went wrong. Now, even if Bedhead can play the bank here, that isn't a guaranteed bank either, with a 6 knocking the 9 in. The 6 might get jammed up in the pocket. Yep. So, Winkatme's not going to have a better chance than this. And he's got to cut that. This is fairly easy to cut onto the 9. Yeah. And again, it's just the very slight differences in angle. That would have been so much easier to combo that 9 in had he not been so close to the rail. So that's one that's got away. Winkatme's back to trailing by just the 2. Dry break, shot in the 1. A little drop in the middle, 3 hanging over the top left. So with the 4 in the open. Now, goodness knows what he was thinking there. Oh, that's a severe lapse in concentration there. Because the problem ball is still the 5. And so that is, at the moment, that's going to be Winkatme's safety net. But if Bedhead can drop in the bottom side of this 5, he can play it into the top right hand corner where the 4 ball is right now. Or he can try and draw and move something. No, he's trying to get in the bottom side of it. And that's going to be good enough. Don't think he wants to try and drop this into the middle, surely. Although the cue ball will be finishing by the 7. It looks a bit tight to be playing that. Well, that was a strange shot. That was even stranger than Winkatme's shot. I don't know what was going on there. Was he playing the safety? Because he's more or less got it. I don't know whether he can see enough of that to make the potting angle on it. He certainly can't. Looking to spin around at 7. Well, it's caught the jaws. And a little punch. Try and kill the cue ball behind the 8. Well, that's not hidden, so this is another chance for Winkatme. And he's really got to take this. That cue ball needs to keep travelling. Well, definitely the wrong side of the 7. He doesn't want to get elaborate here and try loads of inside English. He needs to get himself around the table. And he may well finish in the short side of this 8 ball. No, he's played it gentle enough to leave himself the cut. But this has got to be a gentle enough one. Unless he wants to run up and down the table. You can just cut this and just leave enough to come off the rail and get into the middle of the table for the 9. And that will do it. So Winkatme's somehow he's getting himself back to just the one. Still trailing by 6-5, but he's got the break in rack number 12. And he's got a ball in. Oh, no joy in the one though. Now he's pushing. Now where's he going to push? Well, if he pushes to the corner, up by the 9 ball, he's going to leave Bedhead a shot in the one into the corner. Well, that's a tempter, more than a tempter for Bedhead, because I feel sure he's certainly going to go for it. The cue ball's going to come off the 2 rails, off there, and down here for the 2. Not an easy shot, this 1 ball. Well, he's played it with a lot of drag. A well-controlled shot. Now, the shot I suggested was erring more in the safety. If he had missed the cut, you'd have got the cue ball down the bottom end of the table, but Bedhead has gone all out. Now, he's going to need some kind of shot in this 3 ball though. Now, has he managed to hold it? Yes, he has, because the 5's more of a guide. He can just see enough of the 3, I think, to get the potting angle. Oh, what's happened here? Well, that's the sort of little things that can change the fortunes. He's got a kick here. He could kick it in, mind you, because it's quite close to the pocket. If he can just pick his point on that rail. And in it goes. And that was an excellent shot. Even better that he's staring right down the 5 ball. That was always in the cards. So he dug himself out of a problem there. A little run through, I think, or a draw. Got 2 choices however he wants to play this. Draw it back. Well, for the time being, the situation's been rescued by a clever bank. And Winkatme cannot get himself back in level terms. Each time he's almost got there, Bedhead's managed to win the next one. So Bedhead's now leading 7-5, and he has the break. Well, there's a 2-in-1 shot here. He could try an ambitious bank on the 1 up past the 4, and he could try and play a billiard onto the 9. Billiard the cue ball from the 1 onto the 9 and play a secondary shot and bank the 1 up the table. And that's what he tried. How's his luck? Well, that's a dead set bank here for Bedhead into the left middle. You're going to have to kill the cue ball or do something to get a shot in the 2 though. I managed to hold it for the 2. Well, all he's done there is he's missed the bank and tied up the 2. So, and he's also got cover in the 1. there's no real benefit in potting this one. Unless he can keep the cue ball in the bottom half of the table somehow or other, he's only going to have a safety in the 2. And that's why he's just banked to 1 up the table. There's no point in potting it when you can't get any shot to disturb the 2 and the 3. So he's got Winkatme tied up. Well, it's difficult to say what's worth doing here. He's potted the 8. He's got an angle now on the 1. A little bit of right English, not too much. He doesn't want to hit the rail too soon, and he's collided with the 3, opened him up, and that's unlucky. He would have had a thin cut up the rail there in that 2, but just going to try and swerve around the 3. Well, he needed a bit of swerve on that because he didn't make the angles off the rails. Maybe he was behind the 3 too much, because there was enough distance off that right hand rail to spin onto the rail and come in behind the 2. So here we go again. Winkatme's got his chance. Open table. It all looks fairly simple. Let's see if we can do it. So it's back to 1 rack deficit for Winkatme. And this time though, he's breaking off in rack number 14 and needs a ball. 6 balls going in. Oh, that's 3 ball has just killed his chances in that 1 there. He was sitting pretty in the 1 until the 3 ball decided it's going nowhere and he's blocked off. Well, I'd be playing down to there somewhere, because that at least exposes the 3 so that Bedhead can see an edge. Bedhead has a choice. He can go for the cut. It's not easy. And the cue ball might be running into that 8 ball. A danger of the scratch off the 8 ball as well, I think. Now, is he going to play the shot or is he going to pass it back? Well, Bedhead's going to play it. Oh, that's a great shot. Once again, great control. Drew the cue ball onto the right rail. Not a lot of power. And he's got a shot in the 2. And that was a reasonable enough place to play the push out. It was enough to give Bedhead a little enticer to go for it, but that's a risk you have to take. These 2,400 players can pot balls, so you're taking the risk he's going to miss it, but he went for it, and it looks very likely that he's going to open the gap again. So that push out backfired, but it backfired for the right and the wrong reasons. It's strange to say that, because you do want to make sure that
you don't make it easy for your opponent to put you in trouble. Lots of players do that. They play a push out and then they end up being hooked. Or you want to play a push out where there is a possibility of a pot. It might be difficult like that one, and you're just relying on your opponent taking the bait and obviously making a mistake. In this case, Bedhead took the bait, but he buried it, and he's going to get his reward for his efforts. And that's also a bit of a statement to Winkatme, to let him know that you know, you're going to have to work harder to beat me. That's what he's basically saying. So it's now 8-6 again, and it's Bedhead breaking off. And this time he's got a ball. The 4 has gone, and he's on the 1. Well, that's actually a bit straight. And I don't know whether he can get down the right hand side of this too, because it is straight. And he's going to get a little bit of spin, and he's left it way short. Simple enough safety on here. Is he playing the billiard again? What's he doing? Is he going for the bank? Because he can cut that 3 back, I think. No. Well, in the end, I don't know what he played there. I don't know whether he was trying to nudge the cue ball in behind something there, or whether he was playing some sort of bank. But either way, it didn't work out. But having said that, well, that 3 ball, the 3 ball cuts, but only from a certain position. And the angle he's got in the 2 isn't really going to help that unless he can get around the corner and get up to the bottom end of this table. Now that looks pretty good. If it just slows up. Well, I think the 3 pots, but the problem's the 5. He's going to have to get a bit of luck here. He's going to collide with the 8. Unless he's playing the draw. And yeah, see the angle he had in the 3, or the angle he had to hit the 3 to pot it, meant he couldn't get the cue ball away. So straight away he's left with a choice. A bank. It's all or nothing in the bank. And it's not a great bank either. Well, he's played it well, but unlucky. The kiss and the 8, and it's going to be another bank. He's going to have to go all out here. Either a direct bank into this bottom left, or the double bank, if he gets it wrong, into the right hand corner pocket. And he's played that well. Well, look at that 9 ball though. I don't like that 9 ball. That 9 ball is right on the rail, and he's going to have to get as close to the rail as he can here, preferably from the top end. And I don't like shots like this, because when you're playing this tight to the rail, it's very easy to catch that jaw. This will be a good shot, this 9 ball. Dead set on the rail. And that's what happens. If that had been a millimetre off the rail, that 9 ball would have been in. And that's one that has gotten away again for Winkatme. And it's now 9-6, the gap. And Bedhead is more than halfway home here. Needs 16 to move through to the next round.
Well, this certainly doesn't look like a straight run out, considering where the 5 is. Now if we can get good on that 4, now that would be either somewhere like that, so that he could actually pot the 4 and run the cue ball down and into the 8 and 5 and try and move them. I don't know what the angle's like in the 3 though. Well, I think he's I don't know whether he can get enough into this with the angle he's got in that 4 to get anywhere near the 5 and 8. He would basically have to cheat the pocket a wee bit, I think. Well, that's clear that that was never on, so is he going to punch that 5 ball off the end rail and cut the 8 in? If he's looking to play the billiard, the double kiss is on. I don't think he can get away with that, but he can certainly punch that 5 into the rail and catch the edge of the 8. He's not even risking that. I think that was a shot there. He could have played that. This needs to be really, really thin. Oh, he's hit the 7. And that 5 cuts, no problem. And so he's... Well, is he going to play this really delicate, or is he going to run up the table? I think he's got to run up the table, surely. If not, he's going to leave a high cut in the 6. He's played it in off the 8. And it's going to be the high cut in the 6, but plenty of room in the table to go on the 7. Anywhere near the middle pockets, he'll be looking odds on favourite for another rack. And that'll do it. So Bedhead is going to be first to get to double figures, I would assume, barring any calamities on this 8 ball. Well, it's now 10-6, and Bedhead is just 6 away. So a dry break. Possibilities of a bank in the 1. But he's only going to get one shot at it. And that has got the cover. An easy enough kick. He's played that well. Kept the cue ball down at this end of the table, and that 7 balls blocking the 1. But it is easy to kick again. You've just got to hit and hope. And I don't think well, that will go by the 4. But it's amazing how big that 4 ball gets, because it's really tight. But when you look at it from here, there's plenty of room. But when you're looking at it from that angle, when you're aiming at the 1, there doesn't look any room. But if you look at it from here, there's a big enough gap to get that 1 comfortably in the pocket. But you tend to
you catch the 4 even though you're trying not to hit it at all. There's plenty of room. Oh, well, that was dangerous. And the gap's getting wider in this match at the wrong time as far as Winkatme's concerned. Right now, he's trailing before, and he's thinking it's going to be 5 in a couple of minutes. That needs to slow down. It needs to slow down. Well, this is thin, but it's a chance for Winkatme. He's just going to get lucky to get good on this 7. How's his luck? Well, that'll do. And that's all gone wrong. Far too much juice on that. And now he's left in the middle of no man's land with an extremely thin cut on the 8 that he's going to have to slam to get it along the rail. Well, I'm assuming he was playing safe there, but he's hit that too firm and he's hit it too thick. And that's an invitation to bedhead. Oh. Well, the mistake's been made again. And here's Winkatme's second lifeline. And this is not in the bag, this 8 ball. It's an awkward angle and he's over the 9. And the pressure is really on. Well, it was asking a lot. It wasn't easy. But if he's going to stay in this match, that's the kind of shots he has to be pulling off. So Winkatme has got a bit of a mountain to climb. It isn't as big a mountain as Bill had though when he played Albinario. Bill was looking down and out, trailing 12-6 in the race to 16, and he got back in it and he won in the final rack decider. Now is he trying to pot that 3? No, he's not. And I think that's pretty straight in the 2. Although he can squeeze an angle, he might be able, if he goes forward, he might be able to ride his luck and try and get a shot in that 3 from the between the 7 and the 5. Well, he's played the big heave-ho draw, and that's got him nowhere. There was always a risk playing that shot I was talking about, that you block yourself out with the 5 or the 7, but that's the kind of risk you have to take. Now let's have a look at the 9 ball. Well, that 9 ball isn't on the point of the jaw. Well, Winkatme still has a chance here. It's going to be a good shot to get that 8 ball in. Doesn't even look as if he's going to play the combo. Looks as if he's just going to try and punch the 4 in behind the 8. Or is he trying to billiard the 8 in off the rail with the cue ball? Nope, he's went for the bank. Or as he went for the safety. Maybe it was a 2-in-1 shot there. And then again, he's apologised. Well, I'm assuming that's a shot he's just apologised for. So he obviously played the bank. He's got lucky, he's got away with it. And that's going to spin in. And ball in hand to Bedhead. Bedhead's already looked at the 9 ball. And we can, well, we've seen that it's off the point of the jaw. Well, somebody needs to get a message to Winkatme and tell him this is where he starts making his comeback, because he's running out of racks. And Bedhead is very high in the contenders list to win this tournament. And he's still not been pushed yet. And we'll find out, assuming he goes on to win the match, we'll have a look at the bracket and see how things are shaping up. We've got a match, there's a match scheduled for tomorrow night at, I think it's 9 PM GMT, which would be 4 PM Eastern time. We'll watch this shot. And it'll be another good shot to find the gap. Well, you can go that way and that way and drop there and have a shot in the 4. And that's almost followed the line. In fact, it's actually better because he's higher than the 4 and he's not risking any blocking off of the potting angle with that 6 ball. Yeah, I think Z Karaoke has a match tomorrow night. And we'll have a look at that bracket after this rack, because it looks very likely Bedhead is going to go within 3 of victory. Oh dear, well, the mistake has been made. Now, what's Winkatme got? Not a lot. He's got a very thin cut in the 5. Playing it with inside to try and hold the cue ball. He's going to have to go across the table twice. Oh, it's just dropped in. And the collision with the 6 has stopped the cue ball running away, but he's left an even tougher cut in the 6. Oh, he's going to have to keep running. That needs to keep going. How does that look? Well, just a little dink in and leave the cut in the 9. So, an unforced error there by Bedhead. And we're at 12-6, and is this Winkatme's comeback? It's now 12-7. Right, so Winkatme breaking off. 8 ball has gone in. Well, he's got a cut in and a 1. Right, let's have a look at the bracket. So that's the match that we're watching now. There's the match that is on tomorrow night, and that's between Mr. Strocum and Z Karaoke. And that's at 9 PM, providing both players turn up. And we've got Marcellus playing Larry tomorrow night as well. Well, I won't be there for that because that's at midnight my time. Right, so where have we got to? Well, Winkatme has blocked himself out in the 3. And it's just going to be a kick and hope again. Well, if that bounces, he's okay, I think. Or is he? No, he's not. It's bounced too much. And Bedhead can just come across the table twice for the 4 into the same pocket. Well, this time he's got to go up the table. If he draws off this 5, danger of going near the middle pocket, and he's just killed the cue ball. Well, he's quite happy leaving shots like this. I mean, this is a nasty cut to be playing. Yeah, that's leaving yourself an awful lot to do. So it's another lifeline here for Winkatme. And these, every time we have these shots, these are the most difficult shot to judge when that 6 ball's in the pocket. And Winkatme's played it well. He couldn't have played that any better. It is so difficult to judge how the cue ball's going to react off the object ball when you're tight in a pocket like that. Oh, that just caught that jaw. But in it goes. And Bedhead still leads by 12 racks to 8, and he's breaking open rack number 21. Couple of balls have gone in. Well, at least I thought there was. Oh yes, there is. 6 ball and the 8's gone. And this rack's all over. Well, that's gone straight, so he can only go forward. And now he's got the perfect little angle on the 4. He can just punch off the end rail, get the cue ball back up into the middle of the table. Doesn't matter how far he goes, as long as he doesn't go to some stupid angle, he should be simple enough to get on the 7. So it's going to be 13-8. Winkatme breaking off. Couple of balls have gone in again. And he's got a nice little shot in the 1. The 3 and the 6 have gone. Well, it's all about getting on the 4. If he gets good on the 4, he should be out. Oh, that's not what he wanted to be playing it, but he's got a shot. Didn't want that collision in the 9, but he's got away with it. That needs to keep going and getting out into the table. Reduce the angle on this 5, because this is not easy. Very easy to cut it towards the jaw on the long rail on the left hand side, especially when you're not looking at the pocket. He's got it clean, and here's another tester. Now this shot, that's a little feather of left hand English I would play this with, just to come up the left hand side as we look, but it's all about judging the weight of the shot. And he's overcooked it. Now where's he going to end up? That needs to keep going and keep kicking up. He's okay. Well, Winkatme, unless he can get a little break here or there, a little run of the ball, he's getting respectability in the scoreline. That's really what he's out to achieve right now. Because, of course, he's won that rack, but the break goes straight back to Bedhead, and he's sunk the 2, the 7 and the 8. And he's well, a little bit hampered by the 5 ball. Just a kill. And now he's back in position. Drop over to the right hand side unless he plays this dead weight. Well, he's gone straight. Has he? And is that 4 off the rail slightly? No, he's dead straight. He's going to have to squeeze something here. And that's the best he could do. And he's played that perfect way. Pot the 6 off the left hand rail and back out for the 9. No, he's probably just going to draw off it now. Leaving it long. So it's Bedhead getting to within 2 racks of victory, leading by 14 racks to 9. And it's back to Winkatme. And nothing again this time. Well, Bedhead's definitely going to play the combo. I mean, it's not set, but it's easy enough to make the pot. Or is he? Well, he's sizing it up. Now, can he just push that one ball past the 4? Well, the one ball will be going up towards the 2. He can certainly do his best to leave the cue ball near or behind the 4. I think it's too close to actually do that now that I look at it. Probably going to get up the left hand side, try and get cover up there, or the right hand side as it looks from here. Oh, he's went for the pot. That was beautiful. That was not easy. Well, this is just drop the 5 in. Drop the 5, roll the 6, roll the 8, and you're on the 9. So it's Bedhead getting to within 1 rack of the next round. And Winkatme now is at the point of no return. It's the break going to Bedhead. And nothing's going down. And Winkatme's on the 1. And the problem he's going to have to deal with is the 6 and the 8, which could be left as a combo. And there's a strong chance it's going to be a combo, because look where the 5 is. And he needs to get that cue ball as much in line with that 6 and 8 as he can off this 5. Because there's no point in trying to get the cue ball down here to play the 6 up there, because the 9's blocking the pocket. So he's got to try and get somewhere there to be able to play this 6-8 combo. And he's out of line totally in this 4 ball, so we might not even get that far. And he's way out of line now. So what does he do? Can go for the cut in the 5. It is not easy, but it passes the 6 and 8 into this bottom left hand corner. And this is all or nothing, because you feel if he misses it and Bedhead has got a shot, he'll be playing the 6-8 combo. Oh, he's gone for in the middle. Well, fortunately, the 6 and 8 are acting as blockers. Fortunately for Winkatme, that is. But of course, they are good for cover as well. So, all your eggs into one basket. Give it a slam. Still might get there. No, it hasn't. So, Winkatme's got ball in hand, so he's going to have the ideal position in the 5 just to get the cue ball lined up with the 6 and the 8. So he's having a look at it, and he's showed you where the cue ball's going to have to be. So he's going to try and get that as straight as he can, like what we showed earlier. So playing it from that line roughly, and that's not bad. This is easy enough to make, but the problem's the 6 ball, because you're cutting at that, and it stayed alive. It could easily have died down onto the rail, but he's got the cut, and just getting on the 7 is all that matters. Well, he's just going to roll it in. So just roll the 7 in and roll the 9 down into the bottom corner. And Bedhead wins the match. This 4th round match in this year's VP4 US Open by 16 racks to 9. Now Winkatme's got his second chance. He'll move over to the 1 loss side. We'll have a look at the bracket and see how that's shaping up. Well, in the end, Bedhead is just too strong at the moment. Now that's the top half of the bracket. We can see Mr. Bill is into round 4. He's still waiting on Cue Ball 70 and Yamaguchi Taru getting their match set up now. What the hell's the date? This is the 15th, is it? So they've only got a couple of days to actually arrange their match somehow or other. There's no date or time set yet for it. But the winner of that match, or whoever gets forfeited in advance, will play Mr. Bill. And we move further down. That's the match that's on tomorrow night at midnight, my time. Marcellus and Larry. That is a match that got forfeited today. I can't remember whether that was set to any time, but Allergies has forfeited to Cobra. Now, the winner of that match, and you would still say Larry is the favourite for that match. Marcellus, if he keeps his focus, he'll give Larry a good game. It's not a dead set. These races to 16, whatever you might think, they're still a short race in Virtual Pool 4. And whoever wins it is going to be playing Cobra in the next round, and that's going to be a good match. And there's the match that's on tomorrow night at 9 PM. And that's going to be between Mr. Strokum and Z Karaoke. And there's Magician is through. And that was a surprise win for him against Vinces by 16 racks to 11. So Magician will play the winner of that match. And then down here we've got Bedhead, who has just won against Winkatme, and he's through to the winners round 5. And let's see what the loser side looks like. Well, Red Dragon, I think, has forfeited both his matches, so Mofo the Pat is through. What else is happening at the top end? Let's look at it. Well, that was tonight. Is that match on just now? Between Biggz and drtys or drtys. Race to 11, that's the one loss side. So that match has just started. So we might as well go in and have a look at that as well. And that's one that's just been arranged. So we'll look at that in a minute or two. We can see Tony Sam on the one loss side. He's got through against Wizard Cheat by 11 racks to 8. Acero has beaten Chichu by 11 racks to 3. That must have been during the night when that was played. And Tommy Yu is set to play Shibo, and that has to be arranged by the 21st, so they've still got time to arrange their match. That's the match we were talking about. Mo for the Pat, he's through. River City is waiting on the winner of the match between Snake Eyes and Gung Ho. Well, Snake Eyes should be the favourite for that, if it goes ahead, that is. And Veen says is set to play Culus 2. And finally, Albinario, who, as I said, got knocked over to the one loss side by Mr. Bill in that final rack decider. He's sitting there. What dates he got? Either 21st. So, I mean, this tournament has got a long time to go yet when you look at it, right into January for the deadline dates for this tournament. So, there's a lot to be done. But anyway, let's cut the waffle and move up the bracket and dip into this match here on the one loss side. And it's race to 11. And at the moment, Biggz is up by 3 racks to 0. Now, I wouldn't pay too much of attention to the actual ratings in this, but because the match that I think I was watching, Biggz, I think it was one of the streamed matches. Let's have a look at that bracket again. What match was it he was playing in? Did he play a first round match? Let's have a look. Can't bloody well see him in the bracket. Andy Hazard, Shibo, Mr. Bill, Albinario, Capo, Mojo, Mal, Yamaguchi, Snake Eyes, Marcellus, Federman, Larry, Acero. I must be getting blind because I can't see Biggz in this bracket, yet he's in the tournament. Why can't I see his name? River City. Ah, there it is. Yeah, the match between Winkatme and Biggz. Winkatme won that match by 16 racks to 5, and Biggz just could not play any good position at all. So he'll be finding life a lot easier in this match. But drtys or drtys has just won his first rack. Straight away, a scratch off the one ball by Biggz. It's ball in hand. And it was safe to say that the standard of this game won't be the same as the last match. And for anybody who's looking at Virtual Pool 4 or stumbles across this video for the first time, this game is not easy. I mean, the real life game on a 9-foot pool table isn't easy. And there's just as big a gulf in class in players that play this game, although it's a virtual game, to the players that play the game in real life. You're going to see an awful lot more misses. And these are players that don't get to play the game an awful lot. So this could go either way if anybody takes their chances. Now this is a simple shot to go on the 9. You just put a little touch of right, or you can stun across. So you've got two choices of shot you play there to go on the 9. And he's looking straight down the 9, just to roll in. And it's now 4-1. And the one thing that's, if I've ever got a criticism from lower ranked players, it's a simple thing that they make the same common mistake that, well, that most players do, where they don't have a secondary game. That they have a single-minded approach to the game, where it is that you have to pot a ball. And the one thing that a lot of players are lacking is the strategy side of games and good safeties. And if they could just add that to their game, they'd be much better players. And it's not just what we're watching here, but it's what you'll find with a lot of players. They just have a single sole ambition to pop balls, and it doesn't matter where they are on the table. And the structure isn't really there to start running racks. Well, there's a fluke. Or did he play it? It doesn't matter. It's his second rack on the board. So if you're ever aspiring to improve your game, you cannot be one-dimensional. Yes, you've got to pot balls, but in order to pot balls, you have to get that cue ball into a position to pot a ball, so you have to work in that side of the game. And while you're doing that, if you get your mindset and have a strategy, then you look for good safeties as well. And you've got to judge your time as to whether you're going to take a shot on or whether a better safety shot would be a better plan. But anyway, we are at 4-2 to Biggz. And that's going to scratch. Now that's just letting the cue ball run and do its thing, rather than thinking what you can do to actually prevent these situations happening. So it's went straight back to Biggz. Now how does that 4 look? Well, that's a thin cut. Probably easier to bank it, but he's got the cut. And he's on the 7. Just a little stopper. Well, once again, far too much juice into that. There's no way I believe he played that into that bottom right hand corner or the top right hand corner. But the main cause of these two players and their ability to run out racks and play better position is pure and simple. They don't play it enough, and that's the same for any game like this. If you just don't get the table time, you really struggle. But you've got some guys that are in here every day potting balls. Much better control of the speed of the cue ball. But if you put the time and effort, even offline, if you get time, then your game can improve. Seen quite a few players come in over the years and, you know, they start off, they don't have the position, they don't have the control, but if they work at it, you'll certainly improve your game. I say you've got to bring the other factors into your game. You've got to bring strategy into your game, safety and position. And once you get a good mix of them, then you're going to be a good player. Well, that was a good shot. Unlucky with the position. Well, somewhere between the left diamond and the middle diamond up the top there. Got it right. Now, is that 8 ball going to block it? No, it isn't. Cue ball has to be on the 6. And that spun too much. Now, even here on this shot, there's a simple safety on. You can just tuck that to the rail and hide behind the 9. And again, he's went all out for the pot. Well, I think Biggz is thinking that with a 5-2 lead as it is at the moment, he's going to get a lot more chances to win racks than drtys is. I think that's the game plan. Let's have a look at this 7. Well, that's far too tight. But can he play a billiard off the 7 onto the 8? He's got it too thick. Well, this is a rack that's there for the taking. But the cue ball needs to go, and it's going the wrong way. So, the reverse bank up and down the table. Not too hard. Oh, you know, he's got the cut. And my eyes are bloody terrible. From this end of the table, that wasn't cutting the way I looked at it. Well, that middle diamond's a good judge for the bank. He's hit it far too hard. And I think that's pretty straight in. So it's going to be 6-2. And this time the 8 ball has gone. And Biggz is sitting on the one. Now this is a perfect example where the balls are in the open and it's just about manoeuvring the cue ball. To be able to run the rack. Now you just drop this 2 ball in, so the cue ball is going to run because you have to hit enough pace to pot the 2. But he's hit that far too quickly. And when you've got an open table and you can't run racks, then it's all down to your cue ball control. It's nothing else. It's not that you've had bad luck. And that's what these players have to work on if they're going to improve. Well, right now it's looking like Biggz is more likely to be able to run this table than drtys is. Needs a good kiss. Well, he's still got the cut. Oh, he's cut it away. He's knocked to 9 to the rail. And this is another test of your control of pace. How does that look from his end? Well, you just roll the 7 in and the cue ball's going to go to the right anyway. So this for 6-3. 9 ball is off the rail. The break is dry. Now, what's Biggz thinking? He could try and tuck the cue ball behind the 3 and the 4. There's certainly enough room to do that. And I think it's just peaked out. Yep. So, drtys will be going for the bank. Gonna have no shot in the 2 though. And really, when you play a bank like that, and considering where the 2 ball is, all you're doing is riding on luck to actually get any sort of shot in the 2. And you've got to weigh up shots like that and think, well, why take the bank when the position in the 2 isn't guaranteed? The pocket's blocked by the 3 and the 4. Why not look for a safety? Now a little gentle cut. Not too hard, just enough to knock that 4 in. And he's still on the 2. Now let's see if he can work his way through this rack. Well, that's going to have to keep going. Anything but dead straight. And he's dead straight. took his eye off it, he was trying to sort of manipulate the cue ball with his mind there to get it off that rail. Oh dear. Well, ball in hand, no excuse for that one. But he's got lucky. Right, 3 balls left in the table. You're trailing. Oh, sorry, it was bloody drtys that did. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired, folks. Oh, that's gone a bit too far as well. So it's all out for the pot, or you play the bank. And that's just going to go in off the jaw. I don't think drtys has to do an awful lot to get himself into this match. Honestly, I don't. The problem is, though, it's only a race to 11. And if he's going to get himself into the match, he's going to have to do it a bit sharpish. Well, he's going for anything now. Well, the cue ball is either going to have to roll through and find the gap between the 8 and the 9, which I don't think he's gone far enough, has he? I think it will go in off the jaw. Well, he's kicked it in. How's his luck in the 5? Well, it's getting into a blind pocket, but there's a fair margin of error for this one. How does he get on the 8? Is he going to get the kiss on the 9? No, he's going to knock the 9 in and save himself the trouble. So, Biggz goes into an 8-3 lead. The break goes to drtys. Dry break. No shot for Biggz. Just to push out. Well, that one ball can be cut in. As I say, Biggz is working on the strategy that drtys isn't going to be able to run the table. He's got the bank. He's on the 2. Well, I'm looking at that too. He didn't need to hit that as hard as that either. Out into the table. And mistakes like that, there's no excuse. Now, who who am I to say? I mean, the guy could have 3 or 4 children screaming round his ankles while he's trying to play the game. He could have any distractions going, but that was just a poor shot in the 3. The wife could be shouting in his ear, telling him to get away from the computer. You don't know. Now, nobody has said anything on the stream at all as regards the quality. Is the stream okay if there's anybody still watching? Or has everybody gone to their bed? Thank you. I'm willing Dirty's on here to actually clear this table. Now, a sensible shot, roll the 5 in, and then roll the 6 in, and if you do that, you're on the 7. And he's just letting the cue ball run too much. So even that shot hit it too hard. He's now higher in the 6 than he wants to be. Keep running. Right. Now, again, a little roll in the 7. Don't let the cue ball run away. Just dead weight to get it into the pocket. That's all you need to do. And then just pot the 8. Nothing firm. Just pot it. You've got a shot in the 9 from distance. Oh dear. Well, Dirty's had his chance. What looked like a simple run out. But it's now 9-3 to Biggz. And he's broke off in rack number 13. And the 1 ball has gone. He's on the 2. Now, that 3 ball goes, but he's going to have to hit the point on the rail just about there at a gentle enough pace so that it will cheat the pocket. He's done it too soon. But he's got the second prize. Now this is where you don't slam at this 3 ball because you want to keep that 6 and 9 tied up. If you start banging at balls and moving things around, you're going to open up the 6 and 9. And if you give ball in hand to Biggz, you're giving him a chance at a run out. You don't want to be doing that, so you just want to try and get to the 3 and hit it. But you don't want to smash stuff about. So he's hit the 3. Okay, he's left Biggz a shot, but he hasn't split the 6 and 9. So at the moment, Dirtys has got a lifeline in this rack. And this is the kind of things I'm talking about thinking about what you're doing and thinking about consequences. And that's the sort of thing you have to bring to your game. Now, Biggz tried to get the split there, and the reason he did is because he was bound to be on the 5 one way or another. Admittedly, he's gone more or less safe, but he's got the bank. Oh, and he's taking care of the 6 ball problem. The 5 ball's hung in the pocket and he's knocked a 6 in. Well, there's ways of getting run-outs, but there's ways of improving your game. And the only thing that can help you is yourself. And that depends on how much effort and thought you want to put into your game, because that's the way to improve. I'm going to get there. Yes. So Biggz gets to the hill. He's now leading by 10 racks to 3. That was a nice little cut. We'll get the cue ball out one way or another. Now a little gentle one in the 3, and you've got a 4 into this pocket. So don't let the cue ball run over to here, because you're blocking yourself. Well, there's just no excuse for that. There is no excuse for that whatsoever. And that's somebody who isn't thinking about what they're doing, because there's no way you'd have the cue ball over that side of the table if you were using your head. So, a 5-9 combo to stay in the match. I think he's got away with it, but Biggz can play the bank. He might get the double bank, and he might knock the 9 in. He's got the 5. He's on the 6. Dead straight in the 6. So just draw the ball and chance your arm. If he just draws it with enough weight to get past the 8 ball, he's going to have a shot in the 7. Oh, he's gone too far. Used the spin to get the cue ball up. Well, he's actually gone far enough that he can just roll this 7 in. He's not going to have a great shot in the 8 ball unless he pushes right through it. And that's not a bad effort, but it's not getting there. So it's the cut and or the bank. And he's bound to hit the 9 here if he just lets it run. Oh dear. Well, there's a gift. So drtys sinks a 9. Still trailing by 10-4. Well, there's your safety. Cut that 1 back onto there and get the cue ball down there. See, he's played the bank, but he was never going to have a shot in the 2, so that's why I would never have played the shot in the 1. I would have went for cover. He's got a thin one in the 2 to cut the 2. But all he's done is teed it up for Biggz. Now these are basic errors. And if you ever wonder why you're sitting at an 1800 rating, then you'll need to look at this video to find out why. Oh well. That 6 ball's done it, everything but drop into the hole. Well, this is where you try and move the 4. You've got the angle to do it. But he's actually got good position on it. And here's the tester. He's surely got to have a shot in this 7 if he pots the 5. Unless he scratches. Right, needs to slow up. That'll do it. Anywhere on the left-hand side of the table. And it's off straight, so we can just roll through to the rail. So it's 10-5. And the 1 ball's gone in. Unfortunately though, no shot at all in the 2. Push out, unless he's going to kick. No push out called so far. So the ball's in the other court now. Can Biggz get this 2 and get the run out? Well, he won't do it from there. Stuck behind the 8. And there was all of that big gap between the 8 and the 5 to get on that 3. Yeah, I chose that. I chose the best option for the stream tonight. The first time I'd ever tried it, lowest latency, and it says on YouTube the lowest latency will give you almost immediate playback. But when I'm watching the game live and I watch it in the stream, there's still a 4 or 5 second delay, and it's no different from the intermediate latency setting. Absolutely no difference at all. Right, it's just hit the 4 ball there. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 4 or 5 second delay. No difference. Well, can drtys get these 4 balls? Once again, he's not going to do it doing shots like that though. He's just going to have to try and go for a wild bank. Either way, whatever pocket will do. And in goes the 6. Now, if he's going to roll this into that top pocket as we look, that cue ball is going to go to the middle pocket, so he's trying to cut in the middle pocket. And in it goes. And this 9 ball, to get it back to 4 racks. Well, it's gone safe. No shot for drtys. And he's going to hit that too. And unless he hits the one firm, the one ball's not going to go very far. Well, he's avoided the two. Looked as if he was odds on to hit the two. Well, that was a good cut. Now, got to be a safety. Well, if I'm 10-6 up, I'm going to keep it tight in a race to 11. Well, this time, the problem's that 5 ball. Now, that will pot, but you've got to find that gap. Now, are either of these two players good enough to try and find that gap to cut that 5? We're about to find out. And that 7 ball might do drtys a favour here. If he nudges it not too hard, it might just push him into the space that he needs between the 7 and the 6 and the 7. Sorry, the 6 and the 8. I think he's okay here. He's going to have no shot in the 6 though. Now, he could maybe try and kill the cue ball, punch the 5 around the table. That's a good shot. Now, that is using your head. Right, let's have a closer look at this 6. Well, that 6 goes. Plenty of room off the jaw to get the 6 ball in. Now, drtys needs to look at that, and he needs to use the pocket, because there's plenty of room off that jaw for the 6 to go. And he's nudged it into the 9. If only he'd slowed down and taken his time. Oh, the 6 just died into the pocket. But look at where the 8 ball is. That 8 ball looks close to the rail. Well, it's off the rail by 3 or 4 millimetres, so this match should be over. But look at what he's got in the 9. Reverse bank or very thin cut. And it's the very thin cut. And Biggz wins the match by 11 racks to 6. So that was a little bonus match. We didn't know that match was scheduled. Must have been scheduled while we were watching the other match, but Biggz goes on to the next round on the 1-loss side. drtys ends his participation in this year's tournament. And one final look at the bracket and see if we can find that match. Where was it? It was up the top, wasn't it? Or was it? I've totally lost the place of what's happening. There we go. Right, so that match is about to be updated, and Biggz is set to play Allergies. Well, I think Allergies, not that I've seen an awful lot of him, but I think he'll be too strong for him. But it's only a race to 11, and I think if Biggz applies himself, could have a good match with Allergies. Right, so until tomorrow night, provided that match goes ahead, let me have a look at the bracket. The next match will be Mr. Strocum against Z Karaoke tomorrow night at 9 PM. With that, folks, thanks to those that are watching, and we will see you again sometime.